Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Modeling League's Dungeonbowl. It is day 2 of the competition, week number 1. We've got 9 weeks of regulation before the cut to top 8. Lots and lots of Blood Bowl to go. We have not quite a doubleheader this evening. Sophiano, welcome to the stream. Welcome everyone to the stream this evening. Praying enough, we'll get the prayers in early. We've got 2 games today. It's not quite a doubleheader. We've got a game right now. We've got another game in about 3 hours from now, and that game's going to have our current Chaos Cup and Spike Magazine trophy champion BB Nut playing. But first up tonight, this afternoon really, it's going to be the World of Cheese versus the Nappanee Nightmare. James like Snacks versus Proudstar. We've got Pro Elves versus Chaos Chosen. Why don't we take a look at the standings after day 1 before we take a look at the rosters of these 2 teams. In Division A, currently in first place with a win here in week number 1, the Spite Spires Snipers, coached by Squig. They're a Wood Elf team. They're 1-0-0. The Fishy Fiends, well, really everyone else is in second place because no one else has played in Division A. Over in Division B, we've had a game as well. In my opinion, the GOAT is in first place. That is Electric Man's Skaven team. They won 2-1 this week. And over in Division C, we have a number of games played so far here in day number 1. In first place is currently Festoon's MAML Nightmare. They're a Necro team. They won their game 3-0. They are followed by the Discomancers, coached by Ian, also a Necro team. They won their game 2-0. And the Grim Dark Orchard, coached by Crikey, in third place, also winning here in week number 1. They're an Orc team. They won 1-0. The home team for this game this afternoon will be the World of Cheese. You can see they are coming in battered, beaten, and bruised here in week number 1 after the end of the Spike Magazine trophy. Just 10 on the roster, and 2 of those players are injured, will not be playing tonight. That means 3 journeymen will come onto the roster this evening. That's going to bring their TV of 1,040,000 up to 1,220,000. They don't. I was going to say they do have their thrower. No, they don't. They have 2 blitzers. They have 2 catchers. Oh, they have 3 catchers, and they have a handful of linemen. Remember, those journeymen will be linemen with the loner trait. 1 apothecary, 3 dedicated fans, 3 rerolls. Who are they going to be up against tonight? They're going to be up against the Nappanee Nightmare, coached by Proudstar, a new player to the league, a new team here in the league. We've seen Chaos teams before, and they're a kill team, right? They're weakest at low TV, but once they start to get themselves out, they can be really, really scary. They're just out to murder you. They have 4 chosen blockers on the roster with a strength of 4. Everybody else is a beastman. Those beastmen also have horns. We'll talk about that in just a minute. That brings their TV to an even 1 million gold, 1 dedicated fan, 3 rerolls. That's 220,000 gold in petty cash going back to the Nappanee Nightmare here this evening. We'll talk about what they might do with that in a little bit. How are these 2 teams going to play, however? We'll talk about the away team first. This Chaos team, 4 blockers at a strength of 4. The Beastmen all have a strength of 5, but really he's playing with a 5th strength 4 player, and that's because of horns. If any one of these Beastmen's blitzes, horns gives you a +1 that's going to bring their strength to a 4 on a blitz. That's lots of strength on the roster. The downside, of course, is there's nothing else in terms of skills. No block, no dodge, no frenzy to help murder people, no claws. So it's just a matter of leveraging your strength against the opposing team to try to take them off the pitch. Very resilient team with an AV of 10+, AV of 9+ on the Beastmen runners. That's average. That's not bad at all. Decently average speed. That was the phrase I was going to use. I don't know what decently average means. But the Beastmen have an MA of 6. That's fine. Chosen blockers are 5. It's a little slow, but not too bad. They're going to be up against this Elven team, right? So you have a team that really wants to kill you, but is at their weakest right now, early in their development, up against an Elf team that is pretty broken here. Now, the Elf team, being Elves, they're very fast, right? The Catchers have an MA of 8, Blitzers have an MA of 7, and of course, across the board, they have an Ag of 2+. Very, very agile, very, very fast. They have the speed advantage, they have the movement advantage, basically. But they're brittle, right? AV 8+, is not not a lot. So it's easy to remove them from the pitch. The advantage they have in this matchup, however, is that they have a number of players with the block skill, a number of players with dodge that the opponent can't do anything about either. And being so fast and agile, those journeymen, you're gonna get those journeymen, they have loner, but who really cares, right? When you're an elf team, you pick up 3 journeymen, they all have an edge of 2+, maybe you stick them on the line, they could dodge away, no problem, no problem. How is this team gonna combat the Chaos team? I think it is very simple. I think they just wanna stay away as much as possible. If they do make contact, they want to make contact with those resilient players with the block skill, maybe these blodgers as well. Sidestep is a great skill to have in this particular matchup right now. I think this elf team on paper has the advantage. We haven't talked about the petty cash yet, the petty cash situation yet. But really, if they could just stay on the pitch, I think they've got this game in the bag, right? You've got lots of skills. You've got lots of speed. You got the edge advantage. We've seen time and time again how elves can score with as little as 4 players. I think we saw elves score with 3 players on the pitch before, right? Very easy for them to get to where they need to be with that speed and that agility. But they are giving up 220k in petty cash. And the Nappanee Nightmare have some options in this regard, right? So 220k, they're not picking up Morg, of course. They're not picking up Lord Borak. They could pick up a Helmet Wolf if they want to lean into the murder game. Helmet Wolf has a chainsaw, but he is a secret weapon, so will only be on the pitch for a single drive. Otherwise, I think, well, so Hack Phlegm, Scuttle Spike, also an option that gives them the speed to keep pace with these elves. Prehensile Tail could be a factor as well, but Hack Phlegm, really, you pick him up, it's easy to score with him, right? He's got the extra arms, he's got the 2 heads, his ability here allows him to grab the ball, but if he's grabbing the ball and scoring, you're not getting that SPP. I think, personally, Skitter Stab Stab might be the pick here this evening. 150k, that leaves you 70k in other inducements to spend. You get an MA9 Gutter Runner. Now you have the speed advantage. You have an Edge 2+ guy. You still have that Prehensile Tail. You've got Shadowing. You've got Dodge. And you've also got Stab. You can start murdering people with Skitter Stab Stab, with the speed, with the agility. Prehensile Tail, if you've positioned Skitter Stab Stab in a very strategic way, you can really lock down a player that the opponent doesn't want locked down. I think Skitter Stab Stab might be the pickup here this evening. We'll see what Proudstar decides to do with that 220k. But I think that would be my choice. For the Elven team, it's going to be stay away and score whenever you can. For the Chaos team, it's really going to be more of a game of positioning and trying to murder players, trying to get those 2-die blocks, trying to make sure that when you set up the 2-die blocks, because you don't have the block skill, to make sure you're not destroying your formation and doing that, making sure you're not overly committing to try to get that 2-die, maybe even a 3-die block, but now you've left a giant gap for these elves to just dance right through, and now you're in trouble. So good positioning by the Chaos team. If they can with good positioning, if they can remove those elves early, they're gonna have a pretty good time in this game. Otherwise, the elves are just they're gonna zip right by them. So this will be a fun one to watch. This is a pretty good matchup, and I think it's good to watch. It's good to have these games where the situation is not ideal, right? Where one team's like, man, what am I supposed to do against this? Well, you've got to adapt, right? You've got to figure out what your advantages are. You have to figure out what your opponent's advantages are and try to shut that down. All right, I am over time here, so we're about to get this game underway. I wager. Still waiting for the game to start. I'm going to see if the coaches are ready to go in Discord. I see they are both in Blood Bowl, or in Blood Bowl 3, so still waiting for the game to commence. There we go. Uh-oh. Oh, the journeyman. All right. I was like, uh-oh, where'd all the money go? There's the 220k in petty cash that the Nappanee Nightmare will be able to spend here. They're going to pick up Creek Rust Gouger. So going with the secret weapon after all, this is, I think, a strength 7 ball and chain player. So this is a lot of strength, and this is a player that can knock players around whether they're standing or they're prone. The problem is you don't really get to decide where you're moving. The ball and chain is going to spin round and round and round. You're going to pick an orthogonal direction to go, and then you're going to go in one of the 3 spaces in that direction. So let's say I'm here. I could choose to go in one of these 4 directions. Let's say I go to the top here. Then I will randomly go into one of these 3 spaces. Whoever is there, friend or foe, standing or prone, will eat a block or an armor break. Cobblestorm, welcome to the stream. That's right. We're getting the Telestrator of Doom in there early. World of Cheese chooses to be on offense here, so the defense, the Nappanee. Whoa! This is awesome! Oh man, I love it. Oh man, contender for the new greatest cheerleaders. Defense with 3 on the line, giving up the wide zones to this Elven team. Now 5 on the line for the offense. SB Beaver says, are those dwarf cheerleaders? I think they might be chaos dwarves. No, they might just be dwarves. Looks like they're just dwarves. Just dwarves. Like that's... Looks like they're dwarves. Spice says, forgetting to start on the sideline, everyone's favorite mistake. Maybe, but it is a secret weapon, so maybe saving the star player for a future drive. Star players, secret weapons are only out for 1 drive, unless you can spend a bribe to bribe the ref or argue the call successfully with the ref. Proudstar says we serve beer at our games at Site War Chaos. I'm down with that. Let's go. 7 on the line for the offense. Creek comes back. What? Whoa! That is a very short kick right into the hands of the center, the journeyman. I don't think World of Cheese really wants that. Oh boy. First block on the line is going to be a wrestle down to the ground against the right defensive end. Just a 2+ to dodge away, but that's a journeyman. That's right, that journeyman's going to have to earn his pay. So Creek's special is called I'll Be Back. Oh, that's amazing. So Creek comes back, so once per game he'll be back. I'll be back. He doesn't say it like that though. He just says, I'll be back. I'll be back, guys. 2-9 block on the nose tackle. Gets a knockdown here. Final block on the line on the left defensive end. Gets a POW against Eriko's Born in Blood. Breaks armor. Got the removal. Big time removal on one of those strength 4 players. 1-man player advantage for the World of Cheese. Gets a knockdown here against one of the Beastmen, but no armor break. C's welcome to the stream. C says, World of Cheese, the non-Skaven team. Yep. "17 seconds left in turn 1 here for the World of Cheese. Frees up the ball carrier to hand off to Roquefort? I don't know that cheese. But in the hands of the number 7 rookie catcher, injured catcher, I might add. Advances the rest of the Pro Elves to the line here, spreading out very wide here, trying to control the pitch and make sure that a rogue Beastman doesn't come after this ball carrier. Turn 1 now for the defense. Oh, Rockfort. I see. I see. I don't know what it is, but thank you. Rockfall? Really? You know what? I'm going to veto that. It's Roquefort. That's what it is. Roquefort. 2-die blitz against Havarti. Got a both down result. That's a turnover. Turn 2 for the world of cheese. Rockerfort. Now I want to try it. I caught myself. I was about to ask, what's a Ludrin? What type of cheese is that? It's not. That's a journeyman. Clear skies for this game. Neither team has to worry about the weather. Well, some people have to worry about the weather. It's raining beer. War Master, welcome to the stream. Real human with the follow. Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Game 1 of 2 today. Those cakes sure hold a lot of beer. They do. Or maybe they just have like an aerator on the end, so it's a lot less beer than it looks like. Kind of like your sink, you know? Who doesn't appreciate a good bit of slightly moist? Ugh. 2-die block on the right side here. Gets a knockdown, no armor break. Needs a 10+ to break armor. Here's the blitz. Blitz is Raven the Rampager. Got the POW here looking for a 9+. 9+ can be considered average armor. And then armor scales not linearly, right? 10+ versus 9+ is not a linear change because we're talking about a 2d6 die roll. Turn 2 now for the Nappanee Nightmare. So 10+ is a lot stronger than it may seem at first blush, and 8+ is a lot weaker than it may seem. There you go, Squiggy McSquig with the percentages there. So you can see how 9+, the difference between a 9+ and a 10+ is enormous, and that's because if you think about a 2d6, let's talk about a does that mean 9+ is exactly as it seems? Touche. But you think about a die roll, think about a 7, right? How many ways are there to roll a 7 on a 2d6? You can roll a 1 and a 6, a 2 and a 5 and a 2, a 6 and a 1, a 3 and a 4, and so on. But how many ways are there to roll a 12? There's just one way. So these values are on a curve. 2-die blitz to get things started over in the left wide zone. Gets a push against Asiago. Cobblestorm says there's either like 0.1% beer or the stingy buggers are gathering it back from the drains in the stands. It's all a ruse. Turn 3 for the world of cheese here. C says, welcome to Ava Explains. On today's show, math. SB Beaver says, there needs to be a team that has an ability to use a D12 instead of a 2D6. There is a D16 in the game. That's your CAS roll, the casualty table. It used to be what what GW referred to as a D68. That was a D6 and a D8, but they've turned it into a D16 in the BB 2020 rules. The old version, if you rolled a 6 on that D6, you were dead. That's what determined whether you were dead or not. So you had a 1/6 chance of dying on a casualty roll. In the new version, it's a 15+, so it's just a 1/8 chance. Gets a stun here, center pitch. Squiggy McSquig says, I play Blood Bowl very, very mathematically, so knowing percentage chances for knockdowns and armor breaks on every permutations of hit and being able to process that quickly is crucial to me. Yes, and if you can't do that, in your head, I would strongly urge players, new coaches, don't be afraid. Just write down a grid, write down a little cheat sheet that you can reference very quickly to see what percentages are, and you can make your decisions that way. C says, I want more obscure dice. Someone make a perfectly fair D13 or like a D7. Cobblestone BB says, MAML Ava maths is the best maths, only slightly less likely to summon the powers from beyond than the Telestrator. So speaking of math, I've been playing Final Fantasy Tactics, which I love. And there is a job in Final Fantasy Tactics called the Arithmetician. And what the Arithmetician does is the Arithmetician can cast certain spells from other jobs for free, meaning it doesn't cost magic points, it doesn't cost any casting time. But the trick is you have to cast it based on an expression, or actually based on an equation that you write. So for example, I could cast Flare, right? And it will hit everyone based on some equation that you write. So say you could cast it on, you could target everyone at a prime number elevation or something, or everyone whose turn order time is divisible by 4. It's great. It's so cool. SB Beaver says we should post a variation of that chart in the Discord for people. I think that is not a bad idea at all. Two-Die Blitz here by Larry Longhorn. Remember, you get a +1 with horns to your strength. That is a 4v3, and that's why that was a two-die blitz. No armor break here. Why do we want video games that feel like math homework? because what you get instead of an A or instead of a degree, you get the ability to chuck meteors at people's faces. Festook says, I've been playing it again. Getting Ramza with double strike is just OP. Yep, I have Ramza as a ninja right now. Yeah. Turn 4 now for the world of cheese. We'd rather have math homework, which feels like a video game. So we had those in school, right? This is going to age me, I think. But we had Number Muncher in school. I played that a lot. And there used to be a math TV show that I like to watch a lot. It was called Square One Television. Two-die block against Larry Longhorn. That was the blitzer last turn. Gets a push out of this. Monterey Jack on the block. Follows up, keeps that beastman marked. Might be going in for the foul on Gregor the Mountain. Not Squircle Television. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Squircle Television. I don't even think Squircles existed back in those days. When I was a kid, I'm going to tell you how dumb I was. When I was a kid, because old TV shows were in black and white, I thought color was an invention. So I thought back in the old days, the world just didn't have color. Oh, Oregon Trail's a classic, man. I loved that too. I still love that today. I love telling my kids that there wasn't color back in the day. Aludrin, the journeyman, takes a mark over in the left wide zone. Blitz still on the table here with 12 seconds to go in turn 4. World War II was in black and white. And then when the Allies won, there was color. One die block on Grooby the Annoying's gonna be a skull. This gets re-rolled into a push. When I was a kid, our squares would cut us. None of this Squircle nonsense. You kids have it too good. Electric Man, welcome to the stream. You haven't missed much. We're in the first quarter, just about to close out the first quarter here. World of Cheese has yet to cross the line of scrimmage. They've got the ball in the hands of, I've already forgotten how to pronounce this, number 7 on their own 2-yard line. Rockfall, thank you. Ceask says the maths/science behind how you can transmit a signal, which can be used for both black and white and color TVs at the same time. It's kind of cool if you're into that sort of thing. Yeah, so I've had to do that sort of thing for work. I don't know exactly what you're referencing, but I will refer to a Fourier transformation, which I won't get into the math. It's pretty complicated. I do actually explain it on my website, though. But a Fourier transformation, basically, the core conceit is that any wave can be represented as the sum of some set, and that set could be an infinite set of sine waves. So think of a wave you want, and you can calculate that from a series of sine waves, which is how lots of things work. Oh, quad skulls here on the re-roll. That'll be a turnover. Second quarter begins here for the World of Cheese. Crowdstar doing a pretty good job here, understanding the limitations of being at low TV against a team like this, really keeping the formation together, not getting overly aggressive, going for the blitzes that matter, and still keeping players in position. Doing a great job, all things considered, and has effectively kept the World of Cheese at bay here. Now, of course, World of Cheese hasn't wanted to get super aggressive and cross that line of scrimmage and take a lot of blocks and maybe lose the ball, but still a pretty solid first quarter here by both teams. But yeah, Fourier transformations are used for lots and lots of things. Like you, whoa, wow, the elves with a 2-man player advantage. Holy smokes. Get nerfed. But YouTube's automatic copyright detection system uses Fourier transformations in order to detect that. But anyway, enough about that. Enough about that. Moving forward to the opposing 8-yard line now is the number 7 catcher. 2-man player advantage for the elves. Corn elves. The cheese has chosen violence. C says the replay wasn't yesterday's game. The stream is saved. That's right. That's right. Last night's replays had goats in them. 2-9 block here against Aaron, Goat of Angst. Turn 5 for the Nappanee Nightmare. Squiggy McSquig says, my match yesterday was basically elves beating people up for 10 turns, then scoring a bunch. Sometimes that's how they roll, man. That's just what they... Sometimes. Sometimes it's just a bad day against the elves. All right. That was an armor break, but I am absolutely certain Klacko's Steel Fist did not make contact there. I think he just took a fall. I think there's some betting going on. That's right, it's rigged. Minute 16 left to go here in turn number 5 for the Nappanee Nightmare. Still hanging on to 1 reroll. The Elves have effectively punched a hole through this team now, and if they're going to get back in front, they're going to have to risk some die rolls. I don't know if they're going to do that or not, if they're just going to try to get some removals here with some blocks. WWE bump. Soccer injury. Stand up blitz, two-die blitz against Monterey Jack. This is not going to work out. The team reroll is spent. This will result in a push. No more rerolls left for the Nappanee Nightmare. Gregor the Mountain on the blitz. I want to argue because I like soccer, but when you're right, you're right. Good 3+ dodge by the GOAT. Had to risk a dodge somewhere, I think. Turn 6 now for the World of Cheese. In pretty good shape right now. Ketchup for the blood god! But not on my hot dogs, because that's ridiculous. Corn is a true hot dog connoisseur. Only mustard. Only mustard and some onions. The lesser known Chaos God Heinz. Right, that's in the lore, right? You've got Corn, Slanesh, Zeech, Nurgle, and Heinz. What about Oscar? Heinz and Joe. Joe the Chaos God. Two-die block against Groovy the Annoying here. Gets a pal. Breaks armor. Boy, just got the stun there. That's what the football players are trying to win. Is there any other sport where people, there must be, right, where people embellish to try to get a ref to call a foul the way they do in soccer or football? Squeak says, sorry, soccer, I'm Irish. I think we should be sorry. I think we're the only ones that call it soccer. Two-die block has to get re-rolled here on the double skulls. Got a pal now against Momo McSafety. No armor break, though. Opens up the lane for the ball carrier. Could score on a rush. Oh, really? So it happens. It happens in a number of sports, huh? You might tell I'm not a big sports guy. I like the games. Like, I like sports a lot. There's the rush to score. Well done. World of Cheese gets on the board here, 1-0. Like, the games are great. I just don't like pro sports change things to a degree that I don't like. If we had, I'm not going to go rant too much, but I think here in America, if we had a system of promotions and relegations, I would like it a lot more. World of Cheese, pretty strong opening drive here to get on the board 1-0. They're now going to be on defense. They're going to have no player advantage, I believe. It'd be 11v11. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 3 turns for the Nappanee Nightmare to get on the board. They could absolutely do it here. World of Cheese giving up the sidelines. 3 on the line, spread wide. Of course, it's all 3 journeymen. You can hire a journeyman. If a journeyman picks up some SPP, you can hire them after the game. But otherwise, they're not your problem. And now Creek Rust Gouger comes out onto the pitch for the short drive. And as I just learned, his star player ability, he'll come back for the next drive as well. Cheese for the cheese god. Curds for the curd throne. I would not sit in a curd throne, let me tell you. SP Beaver says, I found out the hard way that Mercs cost the base rate plus 30k. Yes, indeed. That's very true. The curd throne does sound a little moist. Cobblestorm rooting for this Chaos offense. I'm rooting for the Chaos offense just because of the choice of cheerleader. Let's go. Squiggy McSquig rooting for the Pro Elves. Here's the kick. More of a throw. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ball kicked to the 18-yard line, rolled a 3 on the D3, and now 6 players get to activate on the blitz. Bad luck for the Nappanee Nightmare. Squig McSquig says, Elf life. There's the mark on Aaron Goat of Angst. Trying to mark out this offense as they go for the ball. 2 activations, 4 to go. They can activate 6 players who were not marked at the start of this blitz. Can't use a team reroll here because he's not in the middle of a turn. Boy, an armor break here as well on the blitz. Stuns Aaron Ghost of Angst. Now I can see why he's so angsty. Come on, Asiago. Are you chicken? You're cheese. You can rush that. The ball's going to bounce up to the 12 on the sideline. Oh, boy. Nappanee Nightmare now on turn 6 with no rerolls. They've got the ball on the sideline. They've got the L carving out the pitch here, so controlling this area. Moveset to Ava just trying to get an elf kill by encouraging to try a 900% failure rate. I just wanted to motivate him, that's all. Squeaky McSqueak says, don't forget it's not just no team rerolls and a blitz kickoff, you also don't get skill rerolls. That's right. Two-die block over on the left side of the line gets a push here. This is the Journeyman against Klakos, or Steel Fist. Klakos Steel Fist against the Journeyman Aludrin. Creek or Rust Gouger. So this is that movement that we were talking about. You can do it 3 times in a row as a ball and chain. You pick an orthogonal direction, and then you will move randomly into one of the 3 spaces in that direction. You can do that 3 times on an activation. Cease asks, how many games on today? We have 2 games today. Our next game is scheduled for 2 hours, 30 minutes from now. That will be the Believe Broncos versus Carnage Incorporated. That's BB Nut versus McMackey. That's going to be Nurgle versus Goblins. That's going to be a real fun one to watch. That's at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's UTC -4. Two-die against Monterey Jack here. Gets a POW. BB Mutt. Squiggy McSquig says, side note, if I could change one thing about Blood Bowl rules, it would be that sure feet allow a reroll and leap and throw teammate landings. We've had that as a house rule for our TT Leap for 17 seasons. I think, I haven't really thought about it, but that doesn't, I mean, that sounds like a pretty good idea, honestly. Festoon says, didn't they postpone? I don't think so. Let me look. Oh, I wasn't tagged in it. That's why I didn't see it. All right. right, so just one game today. It looks like we're not going to have the game between the Believe Broncos and Carnage Incorporated. Doesn't look like it's been rescheduled. Yeah, oh no, I guess I'll have to play some Final Fantasy Tactics after this. Oh, geez. 42 seconds to go here in turn 7. Gonna have to update the schedule so people don't get alerted. Oh man, so Atari announced the... Alright, so Atari released some time ago... Oh, 50-50 dodge. Boy, got through the dodge. The 50-50 dodge made it a 75% to a... 75% to a pal. But the ball is going to bounce into the hands of Speedy Gonzalez. He's right there. He says, I got you, buddy. Don't worry about it. But Atari made a game console, well, way back in the day. Boy, this is turning into a large conversation for no reason. Way back in the day, Atari made a game console called the Video Computer System, or the VCS. Later got renamed to the 2600. In the last couple of years, they came out with a new console. It's emulation-based, but it's the Atari 2600 Plus. And it is emulation-based, but it also plays original cartridges. And I bought it because basically for the price of a modern controller, you get this console, which is a nice novelty, but you also get a wireless 2600 controller. And I love games, and so I have, like here in my office, I have, for emulation, I have lots of wireless controllers for various consoles. So I have a wireless NES controller. I have a wireless Famicom, which is the family computer, the name of the NES in Japan. I have a wireless Famicom controller. I have a Super Nintendo controller, a Sufami controller, N64, GameCube, Wii. I've got a PS3, a PS4 controller. I've got an Xbox controller, a Neo Geo controller. I have lots of different controllers for different consoles. So for the price of a modern controller, you get this 2600 Plus, which comes with a wireless 2600 controller, which is great. Later, they released the 7800 Plus. That has, so the 7800 in America, when it came out in the 80s, had maybe the worst controller ever created. But it didn't come with that. Instead, it came with the European controller, which is like it's like a 2-button D-pad with the D-pad kind of has like a stick on it, but that's wireless, so I picked that up as well. Anyway, the whole point of this story is that Atari purchased the IP for Intellivision, so they have the brand name, they have the games. They announced the Intellivision Sprint, which will come with wireless Intellivision controllers. And if you've never seen an Intellivision controller, it is super goofy. It's a vertical controller, so imagine like you're holding your phone in your hand. And at the top, instead of your screen, you actually have a phone keypad. Below that, you have a disc. That is your D-pad. The buttons are to the side of the controller, but what's cool about the number pad is that every game came with an overlay that would slide into the controller. So if you imagine like a modern controller, instead of looking down at your controller and seeing X, square, circle, and triangle, or A, B, X, Y, you would see an overlay that tells you exactly what each button does. So this one's a jump, this is a shoot, or whatever. And it's really cool. And the Intellivision Sprint comes with overlays for every single game the console comes with, which is 45 games. So I'm getting an actual wireless Intellivision controller, 2 of them, that you can use on your PC with the overlays. I'm super stoked. I'm super stoked. Two-die block on Asiago. Gets a dodge push out of this. Squiggy McSquid says, hey, I didn't know we have retro fans here. My son and I are autistic. His special interest is 8-bit tech. He has a museum of Atari, Spectrum, and Commodore stuff, as well as a massive collection of old Apple products. That is awesome. So I'm a software engineer. I got my start. I didn't technically start on the Commodore 64, but for all intents and purposes, I got my start on the Commodore 64. That's where I learned. I mean, I was just it was my life, man. I got into, that's where I learned Pet Basic. I learned 6502 assembly. I learned how computers like actually work. I love the Commodore 64. While we're talking about retro consoles, there is something called the C64, which is a Commodore. It's also emulation based, but it's a Commodore 64. It's the bread bin full size Commodore 64, which I love. I absolutely love it. Turn 8 now for the World of Cheese. Effectively shutting down this offense. The offense having to turn into defense here to prevent the Elves from recovering this ball and going up 2-0 at the half. C said I started software dev in BASIC on the ZX Spectrum. That's cool. Real Human says the C64 was the best intro to having a computer. I think everyone that had one went into tech. Maybe so. I mean, when you had it, it came with this fantastic book that taught you basic program, not just basic programming, but like it taught you how to like build sprites and things. Like it was amazing. It was so cool. $35 seconds to go here in turn 8. I mean, failed the 2+ dodge here, gets a free reroll out of it. Repositions Asiago to take a mark against Creek Rust Gouger. It looks like he's going to go for the block here. Currently it's a 1 dot. No, it is not. Currently it's an uphill block as Rock Thaw is marked by number 11. Now it's a 1-die block. Here it is, 2-die blitz coming up. 2-die blitz into a foul, I think. Oh no! Double skulls against Creed Rustgouger. How dare you have the audacity to go against a star player like that? Turn 8 now for Nappanee Nightmare. They can't get in the end zone, but did a good job here stopping the second score. Squeaky McSquig says, played Diablo when it first came out on the PC. It was too old to run it properly. Fell in love with gaming pretty much instantly. Yeah, I've always loved games. I love games of all types. I play video games, board games, card games, miniatures games. I just love games. When I was younger and in shape, I played sports. Yeah, I love games, man. There we go. Finally a Kaz for the Chaos team, taking Havarti out of this game. One does not simply blitz into Rust Gouger. That's right. Wait, you like games? This is news to me. Another advantage for me. Oh! One does! One does! You don't simply blitzy. The problem was you just block. We'll see if Creek comes back here on the KO. He does not! Wow, what a block at the end of the half. Get Creek. Wow. What a big time removal there for the World of Cheese. One last block on Creek. It works out. Got the KO. Did not come back. That's not because he's knocked out. He's just in awe. He's like, how could I have let this happen? 3 on the line for the defense. They're down a player. 10 for the offense as well. It's going to be 10v10 to start the second half of the game. Nappanee Nightmare with 2 back to receive. Another blitz for the Elves as the ball's kicked to the 24-yard line. This time they only get 5 to activate. Squeaky McSquid says, still don't like the Elves are setting us up so deep, and that's why. Yes, indeed. C says, so did we say there's another game later? It looks like there is not. No, it looks like it's going to be rescheduled. In fact, I should fix that right now. Let's fix that right now. All right. As he says, at least that means I may go get some sleep tonight. Turn 9 now for the net. A nacho chip. I get it. I get it. Turn 9 now. Ball's going to stay on the 24-yard line. 2-9 block on the left side of the line. This will be a knockdown and an armor break. Thumbs up to the camera. Got the removal. And now a one-man player advantage for the Chaos team. Another POW on the Journeyman. The nose tackle gets knocked to the ground. No armor break. Hank the Ranger says, I declare shenanigans by the Elves. Oh, that's good. I'm sorry your shoulder's messed up. Failed handoff to Momo McSafety. Spends the reroll here. Down to 2 rerolls for the game. Momo McSafety's going to move this ball forward. Oh, that was a pass first to a handoff. Good pass to a handoff here, and now Larry Longhorn in possession of the ball on the 2-yard line. So picked up a point of SPP with Speedy Gonzalez, but also got extra movement out of it. So a handoff and a pass are once per turn action. So you can see down here this little row of five actions here. You have move / block. You can move or block. These are considered standard actions. You can either move or you can take a block, and anyone can do that. So you're free to do that with as many players as you wish. You have 4 more actions you can take. These are once per turn. You can blitz. That's once per turn, as we see here. So after this blitz, nobody else can blitz. You can foul, you can hand off, and you can pass. But with handoff and pass, what that means is, let's say you have 3 players at an MA of, let's just say an MA of 6. You can have a player move 6 spaces or 8 spaces with 2 rushes, right? Hand off the ball, move 8 spaces, then pass the ball up to 3, 6, 10, 13 spaces to someone who can then move 6 more spaces, right? So if you combine a handoff and a pass, you can really go far down the pitch. The problem, of course, is passing is inherently risky. One of, well, really the riskiest thing you can do in the game. There's lots of die rolls involved. And if you don't have a dedicated passer, it's even riskier. The further you pass, it's even riskier. But you can make miracles happen. An armor break by the World of Cheese again. Gets a stun this time. Turn 10, back to the Nappanee Nightmare. Nappanee Nightmare, as I said in the pregame, I think on paper they were the underdogs, but they're doing a really good job, all things considered here, I think. Just goes to show just how much agency you have in this game as a coach. Taking marks. Good action order here. Taking the least risky actions first. Here comes a blitz. 2-die blitz against blue. This is not going to work out. A team reroll is going to be spent. And that is it in terms of rerolls for the Nappanee Nightmare. They have no rerolls remaining for the rest of the game. They will get a POW out of this. They're looking for a 9+. Didn't get it on the drop kick. Two-die block against Provolone. It's going to be a knockdown. No armor break here. Shifting the ball across the line of scrimmage, now on the opposing 4-yard line. Momo McSafety is going to come up to cover. "27 seconds left on the clock, and there we go. Did not forget Speedy Gonzalez. Sometimes coaches, they'll zoom in and they'll forget they've left somebody outside of their viewport. Turn 10 now for the World of Cheese. Festoon says, shout out again to SP Beaver for quickly adapting to the Vampires last night. TV difference almost didn't feel like a factor. The score does not do SP Beaver any justice because that Vampire team can hit the gas at any moment. Yeah, I mentioned that on the stream. I thought it's the first Vampire team we've ever seen in the league. The rules are different now than from before, so we can't really compare them, at least from the perspective of our league. But I do think they're a tricky team to play, and SP Beaver was picking it up as the turns went by, and I think that's gonna make them a pretty scary team as the weeks go by. Gobblestorm's like, hey, look! Why are you talking about goblins? Look, werewolves are basically just furry chainsaws, and I don't see anybody sending them off the pitch. The Furry Chainsaw is my new band name. A mark taken on the ball carrier on the blitz, and now 2 marks taken on the ball carrier, trying to shut down this forward momentum. Oh man, fire horns, that's so rad. That is awesome. Good dodge. Another mark taken against Clacko's Steel Fist. Imagine if he could roll a 2 or even higher. There were a lot of 1s in that game. Move says, I'll do my best to send some furry chainsaws off the pitch on Tuesday. Speaking of, since we're not going to see the Believe Broncos tonight, if you're new to the league, we have 3 open competitions this season and 1 invitational. This is our 3rd open. The first 2 opens were won by BB Nut against Moo. So both finals were BB Nut versus Moo. Both finals went to overtime. Both finals went to kicks, and both wins went to BB Nut. I think we have a rivalry. BB Nut putting the work in not just to win games, but also to appease Nuffle. Oh, it didn't go to kicks. All right, fair enough. Did you ever get this place back? BB Mutt, I'm so sorry. You're right, BB Mutt. My apologies. 2-die block against the number 5 Journeyman back at the line of scrimmage. Is going to get a push out of this. Raven the Rampager, the rookie beastman on the block. I thought kicks were the best of 5. I didn't realize they were 2-5. I had to run my last players away to keep them from being killed. Turn 11 for the World of Cheese. Nappanee Nightmare. Pushing elves aside. Holding their ground. I wish there was an animation for kicks. I mean, I understand all things considered, that is the lowest of priorities. I get that, but I still wish there was some sort of pomp to it, you know? Sure, that's fair. I wish there was a better way I wish there was a better way implemented to resolve that. But I understand they're being slavish to the rule book. Yeah, I actually do too, Squiggy McSquig. I wish there was like a more robust kicking mechanic. Like you could punt, maybe even kick field goals. But boy, if you had another option to score, you would have to completely rethink the game. C says, what pitch is this game being played on? This is the normal human pitch. Cobblestone's says, nah, when I get kicks, I just want it to be over with ASAP. Fair enough. And to be fair, Blood Bowl is not the only game of its sort that resorts to roll-offs for competitive play. Not a lot of action here by the World of Cheese. They're about to dip into their bonus clock once again. Here's a blitz. One die blitz on the ball carrier is going to be a push. Squeaky McSquig says, I like the BB1 system. 4 turns of overtime where no SPP can be gained and all removals are capped at KO. If nobody scores, 4 more turns. When a 4-turn overtime quarter expires, whichever team is winning wins. Fair enough. World of Cheese on turn 11 here with a push. One more one die here against Quacko Steelfist gets another push. What happens if I press P? You want to see the default pitch? Sure. There you go. There it is. Turn 12 now for the Nappanee's Nightmare. Yeah, it's the human pitch. Warmaster said it would be cool if Cyanide made Blood Bowl 7s. I mean, I love this game. C says, where the fuck am I getting water sloshing noises from? That would be from the cheerleaders. Two-die blitz to start the turn here. Gets a pal against blue. That was a blodger. Needed a pal to get the knockdown here. Breaks armor, got the removal. That's 2 more SPP for the team. Well done. And even if this doesn't result in something tactical, that's definitely something strategic, right? This is a brand new team. Picking up that SPP is crucial for the team. So well done here by Proudstar. Another 2 SPP collected in week number 1. A pal against number 7, looking for another armor break here. Doesn't get it. Pushes rock fall. I'll remember at some point. Off to the sideline. Another pal here against the journeyman, number 11. Breaks armor. Doesn't get a removal. But yeah, 7s would be awesome. You know, I love this game, so I'd love to see 7s. Blood Bowl 1 had an expansion for Dungeonbowl. That was cool. I'd love to see Dungeonbowl return. But, you know, I understand they're one team. And I don't know what they have permission, right? What they have access to actually do or not. But that would be great. Sevens, Dungeon Bowl, Gutter Bowl. Maybe we could even get Death Bowl. That would be amazing. Squeaky McSquig says if they're going to do something different that doesn't involve wholesale changes, like quite like Street Bowl, Gutter Bowl. Yeah, yeah. Seek says the height, width, wide zones, etc. all appear to be configurable, but maybe not actually exposed via the UI at this point. Maybe it might not be able to render it correctly. Oh, really? I haven't. Are the replay files not encrypted? They're just available? I mean, I guess that's fine. Why? I guess there's no need to encrypt them. I just don't know if they're exposing anything that they don't want to expose. Oh, really? It's not over SSL? Is that true? I have access to the API. I could have sworn it was over SSL, but I don't know. I'll double check. I've been threatening to incorporate that into the league for like 6 months now, and I haven't had the time. I've incorporated it sort of privately, but I haven't exposed anything to league coaches yet. War Message says, I would love to play Blood Bowl, but my hand-eye is bad, with a lot of players, I would empty the clock. If you're playing tabletop game, tabletop play generally doesn't use a clock. It's just more of a, don't take the piss, right? Like, just play earnestly. If you're playing the video game, there is the bonus clock, right? Which I think is a great addition. But the clock isn't so much about like forcing you to think quickly as it is basically the game. What? I've never seen the 0G jump. Tried to jump over the down journeyman, didn't work out. The ball's gonna end up on the 8-yard line. Oh, good. Surf here got the injury on the surf. Doesn't get SPP for that, unfortunately. Yeah, the clock is just there to like the game's got to end at some point, It's got to end in a reasonable amount of time. But, I'd be lying if I said it doesn't play a factor, right? Like, it does play a factor. Some people, take a while to think out their turns. It's really there to stop. There's a term in tabletop games called analysis paralysis, where there are certain players who really, 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 really want to, like, plot out every possible situation before making a decision. But that is generally just not reasonable in any game. And so it's a mechanism to sort of stop that behavior. Turn 13 for World of Cheese here in the fourth quarter. They're in the lead 1-0 right now. C says BB Nut is terrible for the amount of time he takes. He's even used the time bank once or twice. Yes, BB Nut is a very, very, very efficient player. Squiggy McSquid says, I play fast. It's extremely rare I touch my time bank. I often end my games with like a minute or two left on my time bank. I use it a lot. One into a skull gets re-rolled into a knockdown against Momo McSafety. Another armor break gets a stun. To be fair, one of his times was because I had to go and answer the door. Electric Man says, I think the clock affects newer players than others. I mean, that would definitely be true, right? The more experience you get under your belt, the more you recognize. It's like playing any game, right? The more you recognize standard openings and variations on things, and so you're like, you already know how to answer those things. But I also think for new players, the clock is sort of a source of anxiety, where players feel they put pressure on themselves. They're like, I'm under the gun. I need to make decisions. I need to go, go, go. My advice would be just play your turn out. Just forget the clock. Play your turn out. The game will remind you when you're running out of time. And once you start to run out of time, you'll be on the bonus clock. At that point, you could say, all right, I need to start wrapping this up. That's true. It's definitely a source of anxiety when it makes noises at you when your opponent is running out of time. World of Cheese in possession of the ball once more. They've moved Gruyere down pitch to threaten the score. Nappanee Nightmare on the block here. They're going to get a knockdown on number 5 Journeyman. Breaks armor. That's a good armor break. Wow, got the removal out of it as well. Very good. You get SPP in this game in a number of ways. You can get SPP for inflicting an injury in the game of Blood Bowl in order to do. There's the blitz on the ball carrier. Unfortunately, it's not gonna work out, and that's gonna be a turnover. Got stunned as well on the blitz. Good, or on the block. Good block attempt here. Didn't work out. Came in on the ball carrier. The ball carrier was a blodger, needed a POW, ended up getting double both downs, didn't have any skills, and that means that's a turnover. In order to get an injury, or a casualty, I should say, in the game of Blood Bowl, when you go to take a block, you roll dice. That's your block roll. That's the dice with the pictographs on it, with the skull and the POW and the exclamation point. If you knock down, if somebody gets knocked down, then you make an armor roll. That's so in this case here, for this Journeyman here, that's the 8+. You roll a 2d6. If you roll an 8 or higher, in the case of this player, that would be an armor break. The next roll you make is an injury roll. You're gonna roll on an failed the 2+ dodge. Got through it with the free reroll. Here's the handoff. Very well done. 1 rush will score. I don't think he needs to chance it though. Yeah, it's going to park it outside the 24-yard line. Very well done by the World of Cheese. I think this is a great showing by both coaches here. The World of Cheese just had the advantage on paper. Nappanee Nightmare played an excellent game here. Unfortunately, they lost their big guy to an armor break, got knocked out, and did not return to the pitch. Electric Smith says, you know what anxiety is? It's when you make a move and Ava says, oh no. But after the armor break, you roll on an injury table. You roll another 2d6. Once your armor is broken, something bad is going to happen to you. It is likely... Oh! Ha! Oh! Something bad is going to happen to you! Oh no! Ha! Ha! Oh boy! That's a score for the World of Cheese. This is a death for the Nappanee Nightmare. Right. So on the injury roll, you can be stunned, you can be knocked out, or you can gain a casualty. If you gain a casualty, you're going to roll one more time. It's a D16 roll, and that is going to be some sort of injury or a death, as we saw right there. Clacos Steel Fist, that is the end of his career. Sorry, Clacos. Week 1, he's played 1 game and he's dead. Final turn of the game. Unless there's a timeout. I feel like I willed that into existence. That's right. I need to stop drawing. Oh. That's another kickoff event, by the way, that went in favor of the elf team. You can see lots of removals here. Nappanee Nightmare doing the job that they set out to do. Down to 6 players on the opposing team. But elves, man, They're so agile and they have good speed. It's hard to stop them from scoring once they pick up that ball. 2 more SPP here. Very well done. Putting the World of Cheese in a bad spot for week 2. Picking up lots of SPP, so this is very good for the Nappanee Nightmare going into week 2. They're going to have lots of SPP well on their way to start kitting out this team. You're going to start to see block. You're going to start to see mighty blow. You're going to start to see frenzy. Squeaky McSquid said, my opponent and I played our first games in the league yesterday and both had a dead player. Is it tradition? Yep. welcome to the league, sir. Creek ripped off the Chaos team, took all the money to just watch a bit from the sidelines and take a nap. Yeah, he's a charlatan. He's a fraudster. 3+ pickup does not work out. Final turn of the ball game here. I don't think the elves are going to do much. Can they even get anybody in position? I don't think they're going to risk anything. They are going to risk something. All right. Here's the 2-die blitz. Nope. Rushes fail 900% of the time. And that'll be the end of the game. 2-0. The World of Cheese takes this one. Congratulations to James Like Snacks and to Griff Oberwald. Very, very well played. I'm very impressed by the play of both coaches there. That was very well played here in week number 1. It makes it very scary to see what's going to happen in future weeks. And with that win, the World of Cheese is going to bump up into 2nd place, tied with the Discomancers in Division C. Lots more games to play. There's 9 weeks of regulation before the cut to top 8. The way it works is the top 2 teams from each division will make the cut, and then the 2 best placing teams besides that will make the cut. In other words, once you remove the top 2 teams from each division, just imagine you shove everybody into one big division. The top 2 teams of that will also make the cut. There will be the so-called wild card teams. And then they play in a single elimination bracket. The 2 finalists will earn a guaranteed invitational, or a guaranteed invitation to our championship invitational at the end of the season, which will be right after the Dungeonbowl. But other teams may qualify depending on how that bracket shapes up. So lots more Blood Bowl to play. We would have had another game coming up in a couple of hours, but it looks like it's going to be rescheduled. So let's take a look at the schedule before we leave. Oh, you want to see Division B? Sure, we'll see Division B. So once again, in Division A, the Spite Spire Snipers, coached by Squig, are in first place, sitting comfortably with a TD differential of +4. Over in Division B, in first place is, in my opinion, the GOAT. That is Electric Man's, I get it. Electric Man's Skaven team, they're in first place with a win here this week as well. All right, coming up next, tomorrow night. So we lost a game tonight, but tomorrow we picked up one. We are going to have not 1 game, not 2 games, but we're going to have a triple header starting tomorrow night, October 20th at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That is UTC -4. We're going to get started with the Arlington Nationals versus the Houndsmith Huntresses. That's B-Dog versus Houndot, and I need to look up what these teams are. Let me see. That will be the it'll be Amazon. No, that will be Undead versus Amazons. And then immediately following that game, we're going to have the Fishy Fiends versus Wasavazons. That's Ajax versus War Horsemen, Chaos Renegades versus Amazons. And then we're going to round out the evening with the Gutterballs versus Entanglements, El Nubarino versus Con Kill. That's Orcs versus Imperial Nobility. Lots and lots of games to play here in the Dungeonbowl. I am very, very excited. And 2 more games left to be scheduled this week. And when those games get scheduled, you'll be able to check out that schedule and get alerted to that schedule on our website at maml.club. That's MAML.CLUB. Here on Twitch or on our social media pages on Blue Sky, X, and Facebook. You can also watch previous games on our YouTube channel. Play Blood Bowl, man. This game is so much fun. You can play Blood Bowl via Blood Bowl 3 on Steam, the Epic Game Store, PlayStation, and Xbox, and in tabletop form at your friendly local game store until tomorrow night at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Take care, everybody. Let's see if there's somebody we can raid. Let's go to... Let's raid. Let's raid somebody with, let's raid Nate Watch 82. We're going to go over there. We're going to check them out playing Blood Bowl 3. I don't know who they are, but they're part of the community. I love this game. Let's check them out. We'll see you back here tomorrow night for our triple header. Take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.